Pakistan cricket at its best. 1 minute down, next minute up.
Folks, thanks very much for joining me once again. I'm delighted to have this guest today. He's out there in Pakistan at the moment. He's in Karachi ahead of the Pakistan Super League. Undoubtedly one of the fastest bowlers ever. He's played 3 tests for Australia, 35 ODIs, and he played 21 T20Is. He was part of the fantastic Australian World Cup winning squad in 2007. Played cricket all around the world, including the IPL, the BBL. He played county cricket, bowling consultant for the Afghanistan team, and recently he was the bowling coach for the Pakistan team, and now he's been appointed as the bowling coach for Pakistan Super League team, Karachi Kings. Absolutely delighted to have with me Shaun Tait. Shaun, thanks very much for your time, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to Pakistan, Shaun. Good to be back.
Yeah, it is good to be back. It's all, once I did that role with the national team, I think and I came back with Quetta Gladiators last year, and now this year with Karachi, you do build a connection. It's like any workplace, I guess, and certainly with travel. I sort of turned up the other night, and it was, I guess, so weird to say, but it's like a bit of a home. You do create these second, third homes around the world, and I guess Pakistan's become one of those a little bit.
Well, us Pakistanis, we love our fast bowlers, and you're one of the fastest, so I think that affiliation and admiration for you is there.
Yeah, they do. That's true, actually. They do. It is a big thing in Pakistan that they're out and out fast bowling, and I think it's a bit of a cultural thing here with the cricket, with the fast bowlers, and they do. And people come up and they always talk about the times I did play against Pakistan and all that sort of thing. So, but the funny thing is, the people that are now talking about that, I'm looking at them going, "Geez, you look old, mate," and you're saying that you grew up watching me. So that's a bit of a problem when the guys with grey hairs are saying they grew up watching me. It's trouble.
Well, I think you're not that old, Shaun. I think you could still bowl. You could still bowl pretty quick, I reckon.
Yeah, manage a couple overs maybe.
Exciting opportunity though, Shaun, isn't it? Karachi Kings, one of the biggest PSL franchises. Must be looking forward to it.
I am. Yeah. I didn't. It certainly wasn't It wasn't really planned. It was nothing. It wasn't a long-term thing that was happening. It was actually fairly quick, the whole thing, I guess. And you always sort of. I played PSL as well the first year with the Zalmi. So I have been involved in 3 teams now, and who knows in the future, could be more. But you never know. But I think Karachi Kings is always a big franchise, and probably one of those. They have won it. And I think maybe most teams have won one, but they have won a PSL. But apart from that, I always thought they were a little bit, I guess, underachievers, maybe.
Yeah, Ravi Bopara, I interviewed Ravi Bopara recently, and he said exactly the same thing. He's been with Karachi Kings for a number of years as a player.
He's been with them for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, and he said the same thing, mate. He said, they've underachieved.
There you go. Well, I'm not being harsh then, because if the head coach is saying it, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And looking at the fast bowling, sorry, mate.
Like you said, they are a big franchise, and it's, and I think they're pretty, more than keen to get into the winning side of things. Yeah.
Looking at the fast bowling options Karachi Kings have currently got, there's some pretty decent prospects there. Isn't it? Amar Jamal, obviously, who's played for Pakistan. You got Abbas Afridi, Hassan Ali, who's played for Pakistan in the past, is out of favour at the moment. You've got the New Zealand pacer Adam Milne, who's still pretty quick, and then Mir Hamza, the experienced left armour. So,
play for Pakistan as well.
Yeah. You've got some good people to be working with there, haven't you?
Certainly do. Yeah, some international guys, and then just. Absolutely, and I've worked with these guys before, and some more than Hassan a bit more than others, but I've worked with them all before, because at that time I came to Pakistan, they were in and around the squads, and they would come to camps and things. So, and I have seen them, and so that's an easy thing. It was quite easy the last couple of days of training just to mingle back in with the fast bowlers. Yeah.
As a fast bowling coach, Shaun, you've worked around the world, mate, and these T20 leagues, as far as fast bowlers are concerned, they're brutal, aren't they? You know, if you can go for under 8, 9 and over, you've done your job in most matches. I mean, what can a fast bowling coach teach guys who've played hundreds of T20s around the world and have played a lot of international cricket as well? You know, what can you do for them during a tournament?
I know, yeah. Sometimes the best thing to do is be quiet for a bit, but to be and just let them have their space and get their head around what's happened or what's about to happen. But I don't know. I'm getting a sense. The coaching I've done the last recent times, I'm getting a sense that, and I could be very wrong here, but I've got a feeling things are coming back around in a bit of a cycle for the fast bowlers. It's like there's only so much you can do and so many deliveries you can bowl. And I think T20 cricket's coming back to simplicity and being really consistent in doing a couple of good things really well. Like hitting a good area. I know it sounds ridiculous, but hitting a good area and just riding the waves. You know, if someone gets away and starts getting on top of you and hammering you, you just have to be patient with it, I think, and just accept it sometimes. But if you hang in there with good deliveries without trying to get too fancy, I think they're going to give the wicket up anyway because the player, yeah. Even looking at the IPL at the moment, there's all this talk about players are not afraid to get out. They're happy just to keep going hard. You hear all this stuff being mentioned by coaches and players in the IPL, and I just think as a bowler, that's not a bad thing because if players nowadays have no fear, they're going to play some average shots. So I think if you stick to good stuff, there's going to be wickets to be had there because players don't mind getting out. So I think from 2 years ago with T20 cricket, where players maybe still going hard but a little bit more cautious, to being to going really hard now, and at times a little bit reckless, I think the bowlers are in the game, and so I see a lot of positives out of that anyway. Yeah.
I mean, yourself, if you were playing T20 cricket these days, Shaun, apart from obviously wanting to knock the head off the opposition batters, what would you be doing?
Well, that's. I think I'm a huge fan. I mean, when you're coaching players, you got to understand them as individuals as well, and work out exactly what their strengths are and all those cliches. But I'm going with, for me, I'm going with my Yorkers. I'm practicing Yorkers until I'm tired of practicing Yorkers, and I'm just sticking to those things. And at the top, I'm bowling at the stumps with the new ball, and I'm just like I said, you try and outthink the batsman too much, and it actually gets messy, I think. And you start bowling different deliveries that might not be your strengths, and you start playing with the field too much, and trying to create things that aren't there, trying to rush the game. Whereas I think if we just slow the game down, hit some good areas, be consistent in really simple things, like being really good at it, really good at hitting the top of the stumps, or really good at hitting a Yorker, or really good at that one slow ball that works for you. Instead of going, I'm going to bowl wide now, next ball I'm going to bowl on the leg side, then I'm going to bowl a bouncer, then I'm going to bowl slow. Do you know what I mean? I think if we don't confuse ourselves too much and we don't shy away from the contest and stick to our strengths, I think fast bowlers are still got a massive upside in 2020 cricket.
I guess what you're saying there, mate, is that sometimes fast bowlers are trying to be too fancy, and it's a case of just sticking to the basics.
I think some guys can do it. You get the odd guys that generally can bowl 3 slow balls that are really good and bowl this and bowl that, but there's not many of the guys that can do that. And I think, not everyone has to. I think there's definitely place. I mean, to be honest, even some of you look at Josh Hazlewood he's a good example. Okay, he's world class. I understand that he's better than most, but he runs in for RCB now and he hits good areas. He can bowl a Yorker, he can bowl a good bouncer, but most of the time he's just going over the top of the stumps pretty straight and sticking to what he knows works. And I'm sure some games he'll go the journey. And but I'm guessing the next game he comes back, he's going to go back and do the same thing that Josh Hazlewood does. I don't think he's going to shy away from it and go, I better change what I'm doing this game and better change what I'm doing the next game. So I think if you keep things simple yourself, it just makes the game a bit easier. Yeah.
Pakistan have struggled for the past 12 months, maybe even longer, Shaun, and the pace bowlers have taken a bit of a battering in the press, and the fans are a little bit tired of the likes of Shaun Tait, Naseem Shah, Haris Rauf. There's been a lot of inconsistency with these guys. Have you spotted anything that they can work on?
Not really. I don't. It's hard to know when you're not in there. And things have changed since I was in there a couple of years back. I don't. Nothing I would say that I think they should work on, because I just don't know, and I'd be making it up. But I guess there just needs to be some consistency, which is very difficult in Pakistan a lot of the time. To find some consistency and work out exactly right who's going to play what format. For example, what Test matches is Shaheen going to play? How can we make these guys enthusiastic about playing Test cricket for Pakistan? Those sorts of things. And I haven't got the answers for them because I'm not involved, but I just think just those simple things again, just how do we get these guys really keen and wanting to turn up and play for Pakistan and enjoying themselves playing for Pakistan. Now, some consistency, I guess, in selection would be nice and all that sort of thing, but I mean, at the moment they've got to try and find the right way to go about it all. Yeah.
I guess Pakistan cricket, you were involved for about 12 months, Shaun. It has a tendency to shoot itself in the foot. The talent's there, but we don't help ourselves really in Pakistan cricket, do we?
Well, one thing is for sure is that the talent, the players are there. Because if you look at the 2020 tournaments, this is maybe my opinion, maybe another's opinion. If you look at the T20 tournaments, the PSL is definitely one of the best. So that means the players are there. So if you compare, you compare the PSL to some other tournaments, it's up there, which means the locals, the Pakistani guys, are good players. There's no doubt about that. So I don't know. That's certainly an observation I've had. And if you go by that rule, then the players are definitely there.
Well, on the topic of the PSL, it has a tendency to almost every year produce some unknown talent or produce an unknown gem, really, and they're then shown on the world stage. So it's doing what it should be. I would say the PSL, isn't it?
I think so. I think it is, and I think the players really like it. It is a good tournament. There's no doubt about that, and I'm not just saying that. It is. I think most people do you hear over the years in the media or whatever doing interviews, they all say the same thing. It is a good tournament. And certainly known for its, every side's got good fast bowlers, for sure. So it is doing its thing, and I think it is a good product. And I'm no expert. I don't know the numbers and all that stuff, and I don't, not to compare all the tournaments, but I know I've been involved in a few tournaments. And I'm going back to even when I played the first PSO, and albeit it was in Dubai, it was very different, but it was a good tournament then too. So, they've done something right there, that's for sure.
And David Warner, your fellow Australian, is leading the Karachi Kings. That was an interesting choice of captain. A lot of experience behind him. It looks like a good choice on paper.
Well, I think he's won an IPL as captain. He's obviously been a leader in a lot of he's captain in the Big Bash at the moment. He's been a leader for the Australian cricket team. What's he played? 100 games of every format internationally. So I think a player like him, it's a pretty valuable asset to the team. Not just him as a player, we know what he's like as a player, but obviously he's just seen so much cricket. And like I said, when you're an IPL winning captain as well, it'll be really interesting to see how the guys go under him. Yeah.
The Kings fans are very demanding, Shaun, and nothing short of winning the final will satisfy them. And obviously, they've no pressure on you, of course, Shaun. They've won it once. They've won it.
Yeah. Was it 2020 or something?
Yeah, that's right. So it was a while ago, and their fans, the expectations, as I say, they'll want to win this tournament. And how do you see it going, mate?
Well, to be honest, that's the sort of franchise you want to be with. For me, you want to be with a franchise that just wants to be the best, and that's it, and settles for nothing else. Or why not? That's something I want to be part of, and the fans should demand. Karachi's what's the biggest city in Pakistan, isn't it? So so they should. It's like the Mumbai team in the IPL or the Sydney team in Australia, and you should demand. And your big cities and your big franchises, you should expect results.
And finally, Shaun, the musical chairs in Pakistan cricket in terms of coaching has continued. We saw Jason Gillespie and Gary Kirsten and Tim Nielsen all removed from their jobs. Akib Javed is currently the head coach. We don't help ourselves in that situation, do we? But I'm sure it's something that you wouldn't mind doing again in future.
Oh, look, yeah. I mean, I'm going to try not to be as cliche as possible here, but yeah. Look, like I said before, you do get a connection for places and people, and that year I coached, that was bowling coach in Pakistan. That was an important part of my cricket career in general, and I think for me it was a really unique experience. And when I was there, it was actually alright. Well, I think we had the same coaching staff the entire time I was there, and it was fairly consistent. And even I think from memory, I mean, I'm going back a few years now, but at that time I believe the consistency in the selections and stuff was alright too. So it was a pretty decent year, to be honest. So look, mate, you never rule anything out in the future. And like I said, I would like to keep a connection with Pakistan cricket. That's what I'll say.
Well, I'm sure they speak on behalf of a lot of the Pakistanis, but we appreciate the work you're doing, at the PSL and with the Pakistan team when you were involved, Shaun, and wish you all the best for the future, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's good to speak to you again.